The Raptors lose an absolute heartbreaker to the Chicago Bulls in overtime. 104-103 is your final. Welcome to Raptors Tonight. I'm Randy Urban, joined by Paul Jones and Leo Rautins. Fellas, that one was hard to watch. Just a heartbreaking loss in overtime. Leo, how'd the wheels continually keep falling off after being so close to a win?
Well, hey, you talk about a game of runs. This game was a game of runs, right? Over and over. But it really came down to mental mistakes. Paul and I were talking prior to coming on, and a lot of the mistakes are just things that you just don't make. You don't throw the ball into your backcourt. You don't. Hey, how many times do these guys know DeMar DeRozan? Did he actually play for the Toronto Raptors? Do you leave your feet when DeMar DeRozan shoots? No. Right? He's going to fake and fake and fake to get you to go. So little things like that, you just can't do. And unfortunately, those things all added up and it cost them the game.
Yeah, Jonesy, you're up 17, 4:50 to go in the game. You have to close that out. What happened? What did you see?
Well, Leo talked about the mistakes and just not being exacting, precise in the execution. We talked about not throwing the ball into the backcourt. The whole, as Leo said, the whole DeRozan thing. You've got to be strong with the basketball. You can't leave it in the hands of the referees. Guys taking offensive fouls on you. Try to get stuff going to the basket. All the things that you don't want to do seem to rear their head, and next thing you know, Chicago's breathing life. They're slowly coming back, and how do you stop the run? Try to get to the free throw line. Don't settle for outside shots. And a guy like Zach LaVine, who was having a tough game, you got to continue to stick him. No, don't let him come alive. A guy like DeMar, as Leo said, contest the shot. If he makes it, great. Do the stuff that you were doing at the other end on the offense to keep them on their heels. Toronto did a great job for the majority of the game finding mismatches, getting switches, finding mismatches, going at people. They kind of went away from that and started to take jump shots, and then it just snowballed from there. So look, it's part of a new team with a new system growing and learning how to close games. That being said, there were enough veterans and enough experienced players to understand how to do it. So maybe you just have to turn the page on this one, but it's a crushing loss. They really should be 2-0.
Well, the thing is, Jones, you said turning the page, that there's 80 games left, right? So, you can't get too excited about game one. You can't get too excited and depressed over game two, right? You gotta handle everything with a level of consistency. And when you look at what Darko's trying to implement, how they're trying to play, it's not going to happen overnight. What's frustrating about this game, just like the things we talk about, the mental mistakes and made by, like I said, not rookies, guys that have been around. So, there's a lot you can clean up, but I certainly am not going to spend a lot of time getting down on this team when you're in game two. And here's the reality of the NBA. Not only do you have to find a level of consistency and find a way to stay up, you got a game tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
You got a game tomorrow, so you got to clean things up really quick.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of the craziest games I've actually ever witnessed in my life in terms of the back and forth. There was a 20-0 run, a 21-0 run. You never see DeMar DeRozan miss 3 big free throws like that. He is automatic. And then you're right, the mental mistakes. But on the positive, Boucher gets in the game, and I thought he had some really, really big moments. Jonesy, what did you think of his play?
Yeah, look, for a guy who didn't play, and he's been through that before. Where he's had to sit and wait his turn. And the best thing he can do is do what he did tonight. Stay professional, stay ready. This league is such that you never know when it's going to happen, but your opportunity will come. And he got it tonight, and I thought he did a terrific job. I looked at Scotty Barnes for the majority of the game. I mean, a triple-double. He did a good job, with his ball handling, kind of getting people the ball in the right spots. Toronto scored 35 points in the first half. They scored 33 in the third quarter.
Third quarter. Yeah.
And, like we said, they're up 17 with 5 minutes to go, and they're that close. They're maybe 2 or 3 plays away from closing this thing out. That leads 17. You get a couple of stops and scores. Now it's 21, and something about that 20-point barrier with less than 5 minutes to go. But they couldn't make the play. To your point, though, Randall, I thought Chris Boucher did a really nice job in his minutes.
And sorry, Randy, but to your point, Jonesy, that I thought Chris as well. Yeah, he did a really good job after not playing to come in and play a lot of effort. But what's the one thing that can hold Chris back? Mistakes, mental mistakes, right? And you make a big one at the end. And
fouling DeRozan.
Right. And he's not, he's been here a while now, right? He's been here a while. And you keep looking for that growth, and you can't keep putting yourself in those situations, and that's something where, he's going to, if he wants to come in off the bench and get the steady time and prove himself, those mental mistakes have to stop.
Yeah. Leo, what'd you think of Scotty Barnes? What are you seeing this year from him that you maybe didn't see last year?
He's ready to play. He's assertive. He's taking care of his body. He's coming in aggressive right from the beginning of the game. He's talking to guys. It just looks like a guy that wants to be a leader. And here's what I was thinking about. When you guys look back, remember we talked about when you had Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James, right? There had to be a pecking order. It wasn't working until you had a pecking order. Dwayne Wade says, LeBron, you're the best in the world. He goes to number 1. Dwayne falls 2. And all of a sudden, Chris Bosh is 3. With the Raptors, kind of big 3, right? You have Barnes, Pascal, and OG, right? And obviously, Schroeder's got to play an important role. But think of those guys as kind of the big 3 that have been here. There's a natural pecking order that's already happened with this group. And it's Scotty rising to the top, in my opinion. Just the way he's come in, the way he's prepared, the way he's aggressively attacking. He's impacting the game at both ends of the floor. He's moving the basketball. He's pushing the basketball. I've been extremely impressed with the way he started. Pascal, to me, he's the most talented, but he's struggling to get used to the system. But he's going to fall into number 2 because of that talent. And then OG's the guy that can kind of fill in the blanks, play great defense, make shots. So and he's a very quiet guy. So there's a natural pecking order in terms of leadership on this team. And Scotty's risen to the top, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Jonesy, I just want to talk about the shooting real quick. They struggled from 3 in the first half, and I'll say struggled, and that's kind of an understatement. Are you worried at all about the distance shooting for this team going forward this season?
It's a new season, and there's part of me that says, no, I've got to give it a chance. We've yet to see minutes from an Otto Porter. Scotty stepping into his threes with conviction. Like he had one in the first half. I remember it was contested. It was a catch and shoot, and there was a contest, and he shot it with confidence and conviction. So there's part of me that says, no, I'm not. But there's another part, like Leo Rautins, you can never have too many nice suits, right? You can never have too many shooters, right? So if there's somebody out there, or there's internal organic development, do we see more? Does Grady get more time? Does Gary get more looks? Scotty's working on his. Schroeder's not afraid to take them. Listen. In the first half, when the shooting was that bad, it was all Toronto. It had nothing to do with Chicago. They had so many good looks that wouldn't go down. And you just have to keep shooting them. The problem becomes when you let it get in your head and you stop shooting them. But they continued to take them. The second half was better. So I wouldn't say I'm worried. It's too early to be worried right now, Randy, but it could be a concern. Just keep an eye on it.
Jonesy, I'm going to go back to what you said. Like when you look at that first quarter, Raptors shot 60%. They scored all 18 of their points in the paint, right? If they didn't turn the ball over and feed Chicago and then take some ill-advised long-distance shots, it's a different game. So, I think you got to go back to what Darker was talking about. You could always point at, the issues in terms of shooters. But if you get good shot selection, changes percentages, changes confidence, changes everything. And I think you gotta when you're trying to implement this new system, when things aren't going right, you tend to say, okay, I got this. I'm gonna just do. That's not the way it's gonna work.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. It's not the way it's gonna work. So you got to have the confidence to kind of stay with it and don't lose your principles of what you're trying to do.
I heard about this players only meeting in Chicago after game number 1. Looks like they were going to have a players only huddle after the first time out in this one. What do you guys make of that, Jonesy? You think this is a little too early? Are they panicking already?
Well, I've never heard of one after one game, a players only meeting. Those usually come with a 4 or 5 game losing streak or losing 7 out of 8, in January at some point. I think it's a little early, but look, it depends on the tenor of the team. If some of the vets felt that this thing wasn't being taken seriously and we need to buckle down, then it's never too late. It's never too early. So, listen, they didn't come out of the gate like a team that had a players-only meeting, but they sure finished that way.
Yeah, I just want to put in a YouTube comment from the show earlier. Hones Theory 88 said, "Missed you guys. Can't wait to have Hungry Leo back on." Leo's back on. No food yet, but he's going to be back on the home show coming up shortly. Leo, you missed those wings or what?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I've been working out all summer just for the postgame show.
All right, guys, I appreciate you doing this. Going to stop it there. Next game for the Raptors Saturday, back at home against the Philadelphia 76ers. Tip-off goes at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. After the game, come on by Real Sports. Be a part of the show. We have some great prizes to give away. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.